Hey everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Still Not There, the podcast. I'm Will. I'm going to quickly introduce myself. The most important thing you need to know is that I'm Stuart's son. I'm a ski instructor and I live in the Swiss Alps. I ride my mountain bike a lot more than a road bike, but I still occasionally ride that as well. I used to ride a lot more sort of enduro style. Did one race and gave myself a concussion, but that's another story. And I've switched back to cross country. This podcast is all about following a journey, one that starts with a big challenge, but definitely doesn't end there. Right now, that journey is Stuart's bike ride. Over the next few episodes, we'll be documenting everything that goes into it, the training, the ups and downs, and what it's really like preparing for something like this. But this isn't just about one event. It's about the whole experience around it, and what comes after as well. So whether you're here just for the ride itself, the story behind it, or to follow along, we're glad you're here. And to kick things off, I'm joined by the main man himself. Stuart, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, William.
Introduce yourself to everyone.
I'm Stuart Hall. I am a 57-year-old lifelong cyclist who is taking a pause from work to do a bit of a bike ride, raising money for Alzheimer's research.
Nice. I think the most important thing is that you're my dad. No?
Yeah, you've already said that, though.
Yeah, but that's something important about you as well, no?
Okay.
Anyway.
A Darth Vader moment, if you want.
Anyway, what route are you doing and where did the idea for this route come from?
So I'm riding from Dover in the southeast of England up to Cape Wrath, which is the northwest tip of Scotland. It's approximately 770 miles. And what was the other bit of the question?
Where did the idea come from?
So if anybody's seen any of the LinkedIn stuff, my twin brother and I, back in 1986, so 40 years ago this summer, can't believe I'm saying that, but anyway, cycled round Britain with two other people between A levels and going to university. And when I say round Britain, what we did was we were going to do Land's End to John O'Groats, which is the southwest of England up to the northeast of Scotland. And Land's End John O'Groats is an iconic bike ride for people living in the UK, really. Actually knew the bloke, or your granddad worked with a chap called John Woodcock, who held the record for Land's End John O'Groats, fastest time. 48 hours, I think it was, when he did it, which is pretty impressive. Anyway, Land's End John O'Groats is iconic, but I ticked that box back in 1986 when we went down to the Lizard, which is the most southerly point of the mainland. Land's End, which most people think is the most westerly, up to John O'Groats, actually then across to a little place about 15 miles from John O'Groats called Dunnet Head, which actually is the most northerly point of the British mainland, then back down to Lowestoft, which is the most easterly point, and then back home. And we did that because we were going to do Land's End John O'Groats and then worked out we couldn't afford to get back from John O'Groats on the train. Flying was a lot more expensive back then. So that was the genesis of the idea to do the 4 points, the 4 compass points of the British mainland. So having ticked that box, I wanted to do something similar but different. And so cycling the other diagonal, as it were, from the southeast up to the northwest was an idea I had probably in 2019. So that's where it came from. And Cape Wrath is a bit unusual. It's not easy to get to. Actually, years and years ago, I heard about a thing called the Cape Wrath Fellowship, which I think was set up in the 1950s. I have to write a bit about it on LinkedIn. I think it was set up in the 50s, and it's basically for people who have made the effort to get to the lighthouse at Cape Wrath. And if you cycled there, you can join the Cape Wrath Fellowship. That doesn't mean cycling from Dover all the way out there. I think it just means cycling there. But yeah, I'm going to do that diagonal.
Yeah. And you mentioned that Land's End John O'Groats, as we know it as people from the UK, is called the end to end. You've called this the alternative end to end, right?
Yeah, just because it's different. I guess part of the inspiration for that, you and I were speaking earlier, was probably I don't even, what year did Lachlan Morton do the alternative tour?
2021.
2021. Yeah. So there's a professional cyclist, Aussie professional cyclist who's a bit different, who rides for EF Education. And back then, he decided that he would ride the entire route of the Tour de France, including the transfers, um, over the duration of the Tour de France. And he was wild camping, and it was a great YouTube video about it all, which is worth watching. So I think I took my alt end to end was probably in that, or the name of it was probably inspired by Lachlan Morton, really.
Talking about Lachlan Morton and being cyclists ourselves, you know that hydration is fairly important. So, have you got a bottle of water with you? For me, in the spirit of Lachlan Morton, we're recording this. It's 8 o'clock in the evening for me. I have a quote that I wrote down in my little notebook.
Okay.
That was, I think it was the stage just after the individual time trial, and he'd been to a shop.
Yes, I remember.
And the quote, he bought a bottle of chocolate milk, a bottle of Coke, and a Leffe beer. And the quote was, "The chocolate's to make you go the distance, the beer's just for a slight buzz, and then the Coke is just to mellow it all back out." I'll have a hot chocolate before I go to bed. I don't have any beer, so I have a shot of Polish vodka.
That doesn't mellow anything out,
And I have a
William.
bottle of Coke to mellow it all out.
Oh no, 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 no.
Back to the alt end to end.
Yes.
You said you thought about the route sort of as early as 2019. When did you sort of decide, I'm going to do this? Like, you had that moment where it all clicked into place.
Yeah, this might go into a bit of some other stuff. So, the reason I'm raising money for Alzheimer's research is because your grandmother, Mum's mother, Erica, lived with us for quite a while, probably 6 years of a steady decline with dementia, which affected all of us. Your mum and I became, as you know, became her full-time carers for probably 2 years. So, and that really, we're going through that from 2017, 2018, probably. So 2019, I did a bike ride with Sage, which we could talk about at some point. And I joined Sugar, changed jobs, left Sage, joined Sugar in January, and I had a number of different sort of long distance cycling plans in my head, this being one of them. And then the pandemic happened, so that probably wiped 2 years of various lockdowns and bits and pieces where going on a self-supported long distance bike ride seemed like a bit of a mad thing to do. And by that point, Erica had declined significantly, and me taking time to be selfish and go on a bike ride for 10 days or however long it takes on my own didn't seem like the right thing to do for mum or for me. So yeah, life stuff got in the way for a few years. Work was particularly hectic, and then as you know, but you lost both your grandmas last year. Erica passed away in May. Grandma Sue, my mum, passed away in January of last year. A few other things happened last year. We lost a dog as well, which was Guinness, which was sad. So I came to realization probably September, October time that life was ticking. I'm getting older and doing crazy physical challenges. Realistically, I might have 20 years of being able to do that. I might have 10 years of who knows, who knows, who knows. So time to reassess, take some time to do some crazy stuff. And the crazy stuff for these last 4 months since I left Sugar was try and get fit to do this ride starting on the 10th of May.
Nice. We'll come back talk to the charity stuff a little bit later on. I know you're into your bike tech. I am as well. Don't know where I get it from. What bike are you going to ride, and why are you going to ride it, and have you changed anything on it from what you would ride day to day?
So I'm not certain anybody's going to be interested in this. I'm going to write a post about it
We can talk
on
about it.
probably
I'll,
on the Substack channel.
I'll put some timestamps in so people can skip through the nerdy bike gear.
Yeah, geek stuff. Fast forward here. So I'm going to ride a carbon fiber bike. It's a bike I bought last year. It's a gravel bike, which means it can take wider tyres, and it's by a company called MV, ENVE, North American company, and it's an NV Mog, MOG. Yeah, that's a bike I'm going to ride because I went to a company in London called Cycle Fit, had a bike fit with them. Went and probably a couple of years ago now. Went and bought the bike from them last year. I know it's set up, it fits me well. It's a great bike. It's very light, but it's strong. It's very capable, and I think it would be a good bike for doing this ride on.
Yeah. You have you changed anything from how you're riding it now, or how you got it delivered? Let's say.
Yeah, so it's a gravel bike, so it's got some big sort of semi off-road tires. Well, they are off-road tires on it. So when I actually come to do the ride, I have some tubeless road tires on it, which basically reduces the rolling resistance. So at the moment, yeah, what that basically means is I'll be able to go faster for less effort, basically, hopefully.
Yeah. So
Hopefully.
taking off the gravel tires means no cheeky gravel shortcuts.
So the final road to Cape Wrath is, I think, 11 miles off the top of my head. And it's pretty unkept. So that actually, in the back of my mind, is a slight concern. I mean, I can walk 11 miles pushing my bike if I need to, but that's not the plan. So yeah, that's the one bit that the road surface might be rough, but yeah, geek alert again. The great thing with disc brakes is you can ride these bigger volume, higher volume, wider tires, which not only are more comfortable, but also, you know, spread the load a bit in terms of puncture resistance and stuff. So yeah, I'll be riding some tires that have a degree of puncture resistance in them as well. So touching wood, that'll be sufficient. But no long off-road sections are planned.
And I guess if 35 mm tires are good enough for Tadej Pogacar for Paris-Roubaix, then they'll be good enough for you for that last little 11 miles.
There is not one part of me that you can compare with the greatest cyclist of this generation and possibly all time, William. Not one bit. But if they are good enough for him, then yes, they are riding crazy speeds over cobbles in northern France. Yeah, if they're good enough for him, then they'll easily be good enough for me.
Yeah. You mentioned you're doing it for Alzheimer's Research UK, and you sort of touched or mentioned the reason behind doing it for Alzheimer's UK Research UK. Why do it for charity at all? Why not just say, I'm doing it because I want to ride my bike?
I don't know. Wasn't so. The ride we did back in 1986 around Britain was for Great Ormond Street Hospital, and I guess we did it. Well, we had a family connection to Great Ormond Street Hospital, so that was why Great Ormond Street Hospital. And then when I did rides with Sage in 2018, and then the ride in 2019, I also did for Great Ormond Street Hospital. And if I'm going to put that much effort in, then why not raise money for charity? To be perfectly honest, do something for a good cause. It is all about the ride. Is all about I'm doing it for a selfish reason. I'm doing it because I want to do it. It's a challenge that I want to take on. But just because I'm doing it for a selfish reason, doesn't mean that I can't persuade other people to put money behind a good cause.
Yeah. You mentioned the ride in 2019.
It also, sorry, I'm
Go on.
thinking through your question because I hadn't really thought it through enough. It also gives the ride some additional meaning as well, to be honest.
Does it make you
When,
more motivated to train, knowing that
yeah,
people have sponsored you and that you kind of
yeah,
got this
absolutely.
expectation?
Yeah, I've got a commitment to doing it. I
Especially,
can't bail.
especially after the ride in 2019 and the end of the 1986 ride.
Thank you for bringing it up. Well, yeah.
No worries. You sent me the picture to include in the podcast for.
Yeah, well, yeah, for those people that don't know, and I don't know many people listen to this, but yeah, one person and their dog. So for the dog, um, yes, 1986, 3/4 of the way round, more than 3/4 of the way round Britain, roughly 4 days left to go, coming down the east coast, which is the flattest part of the country, flattest part of the ride. I was hungry one lunchtime in a place called Concert, and I went to a bakery. We went to a bakery, had something to eat. I can't remember what it was, but I went back for greedy seconds and bought a chicken and mushroom pie, which gave me salmonella, food poisoning. So I rode for another day, did about another 80 or maybe 100 miles. Clearly wasn't in a very healthy state, and ended up having to quit and miss, as I say, miss the last 4 days or so, I think it was. And then 2019, I did with Sage through a company that doesn't exist anymore, but it's a company called Hot Chili, organised these mega rides. And yeah, this was a ride from London to Paris in 3 days. And it was with motorcycle outriders and closed roads. So it was as close to riding in the Tour de France as you can get as a middle-aged man in Lycra. It was amazing. It was a great experience. And I decided, well, yeah, part of my fundraising was I was going to carry on. I'd had an itch for a long time about riding from here in the UK to where you are in Grindelwald in Switzerland. So I was going to carry on.
And he's off to Switzerland. Well done, Stuart.
And I did carry on. I did 105 miles first day out to Paris on my own, and then 120 miles the next day. And that was a Monday, and I ended up in a place called Dole in eastern France. 150 odd miles left to go to get to Grindelwald. And I cycled 120 miles, as I said, that day, and I was hungry. And I was looking for somewhere to eat. Towns in France, small provincial towns in France on a Monday, there aren't a lot of restaurants that are open. There was a McDonald's. And I remember seeing the sign for McDonald's, and I was thinking, you can't go to a McDonald's. You're in the gourmet capital of the world. What are you doing going for a McDonald's? So I discarded the McDonald's and ended up in a pizzeria and I sent you the picture of the Incroyable pizza. And I thought, I deserve an incredible pizza. I've cycled 120 miles. But it had, as you'll see in the photo, 2 eggs on it that hadn't been cooked. And I don't know, it didn't take very long, 15, 20 minutes before salmonella kicked in. And that was emergency call to mum the next morning.
Yeah.
Please come and pick me up. I am not pedaling anymore. And yeah, you saw the consequence of that. Wasn't very well
No.
for a few days after. Don't recommend it.
No.
So yeah, two of the long rides I've done. I've done other long rides successfully, let me say, but 2 of them ended in salmonella. So yes, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, the 2019 ride. That's all on the YouTube channel, and I remember I had a friend out here at the time, James, who helped me film all of the stuff, or we filmed it together, all of the stuff pre-ride. And the plan was that I'd come to Toon with my bike, and James and Mum would try and drive the back road that we would have gone, because I guess we would have gone, rather than a Spiez, we would have gone the top way around the lake.
Mm-hmm.
And James is going to try and film some stuff out the car of us coming round the lake and up to Grindelwald and stuff.
Glad you didn't do that, because I'm not certain the Swiss police would have been particularly enamoured with somebody hanging out of a car or sitting in a
Well,
boat.
also that top road is quite hard to get to. Like with public transport wise, it's a bus that's once an hour, I think, at the moment. So it's kind of like it would have been Swiss
Anyway,
National Day.
it was a nice idea, Will. Sorry,
It would have worked, but yeah, never got there. So maybe soon we'll do that again.
that unfinished ride is an itch I need to scratch at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about your training. What did your training look like at the start? Because you said you sort of started thinking about this October, November time. And how has it changed to now? And how will it change before the ride starts?
Geek alert. Put a break. So, yeah, I've been using an app for 11 years called Trainer Road. It's developed a lot over that time. It's now, AI and all the other swanky bits and pieces that are available. But basically, I've used Trainer Road because I've been short of time with work and everything, and Trainer Road enabled me to get the best bang for my buck. I still love pedaling my bike and being out in the fresh air, but to maintain fitness, you kind of have to do it with a bit of structure and with a bit of purpose. So that's what I use Trainer Road for. So what I did was I put in, so before, when I was working full time, more than full time, if anybody from Sugar's listening to this, they probably remember the silly hours that I used to work. I'd cycle 4 or 5 hours a week during the winter, which isn't very much, but it was enough to maintain some reasonable level of fitness. So, yeah, back in December, I put in what I was trying to do, starting on the 10th of May, and Trainer Road created a training program for me. And so I've been, up until 2 weeks ago, I was pretty good at following that training program, and then I got sick and had 12 days off the bike, which definitely wasn't part of the plan. I've written about that on LinkedIn and on my Substack. So this week has been first week back on the bike, and I've just done riding at using Trainer Road, but relatively low intensity. So yeah, I'll end up doing 7-8 hours this week. So my training volume's ramped up since I'll be able to focus more on training. I'll probably try and get another 8 or 10, maybe 12-hour week in next week, and then the following week I've got half a week of training, and then some. I plan to do some personal stuff, come out to Switzerland and sort some things out with Mum, and that was going to be my taper. Don't really feel like I can taper right now, but anyway, the bit I have to keep reminding myself is my original plan was to do the ride in about 7 days, so between 100 and 120 miles a day. The reality is the only person that's bothered about whether it takes me 7 days or 10 days is me. So I kind of in the words of Frozen, the song from Frozen, I've got to let that go and just get it done. So it doesn't matter if I ride 120 miles a day. Nobody's judging me on that. It's just getting to the finish.
And how long, having that setback of 12 days off the bike, how long do you think it will take you currently? What's the current target?
Good question. I really don't know. Well, at this moment in time, I really don't know. I'm hoping to get set to do it in 7 or 8 days still, actually, because there is a beautifully simplistic thing about riding, doing what I'm doing in terms of bike packing. It's I guess best summed up by those t-shirts you can get: eat, sleep, ride, repeat. Just have to get on the bike and pedal, and try not to get food poisoning, and try not to get sick in general, but just try not to get food poisoning, and just keep pedaling. And so, I mean, you run out of energy, your body gets tired, You know, you can't ride like 24 hours a day every day for 7 days. That's not going to work. So the idea is to ride about 8 hours each day and just see how far that takes me. And if that gets me to 100, 120 miles a day, then I'll end up doing it in 7 days. The confession is the ride doesn't really end at Cape Wrath, because Cape Wrath is in the middle of nowhere. And in order to get back home, I've got to ride back to Inverness, which is retracing my route, pretty much retracing 120 miles of the route back. So I say it's 770 miles. It's closer to 900 by the time you factor in getting back to Inverness. But that's kind of makes the headline of the ride is a bit more complicated to say. Oh, Dover, Cape Wrath, Inverness. Like, hey, what? So
Yeah. You said it is that simplistic. Eat, sleep, ride, repeat. I just hope you don't do the T-shirt that Keegan's brought out, which is
no,
show
let's
up,
not go there.
blow up, throw up.
No, not intending to do any of that. Thank you.
Is there anything in the ride that you're looking at going, bit nervous about that? And is there anything equally that you're looking at going, that's quite an exciting part of it?
Yeah. So for those that don't know, I'm doing the ride on my own, or mostly on my own. My brother's threatening to do a little bit of it with me. I'm seeing him tomorrow, so I'll find out how much of he actually will do. And sort of unsupported in that I'll be taking most of what I'm going to need on the bike with me. Mum's talking about coming to meet me somewhere, and if she does, she can maybe bring me some bits and pieces, but yeah, primarily unsupported. And so done it before, and the thing that worries me is equally the thing that excites me, which is just the whole ride. It's a bit of an undertaking. I mean, I'm not, it's not Artemis 2. I'm not going to the furthest point humankind's ever been in space. I'm not going, it's not, really dramatic, but it's a bit of a challenge. So I guess the bit that of the whole route, the bit I'm probably more apprehensive about is when I get into the north of Glasgow and Edinburgh, into the sort of the Highlands of Scotland, because you're a bit more remote up there. I think in England you're never that far away from a pub or a cafe or a garage or something where you can resupply or do something. Once you get into northern Scotland, you're not. I mean, it's not like, but you could. It's not really remote. It's not like Australia where you got to ride 150 miles to get from one petrol station to the next, and there's literally nothing in between. It's not like that, but it's still, if the weather's bad, you've got a strong headwind, it's going to be more challenging.
Yeah. And I know you sort of said that the finish is Cape Wrath, but it's also Inverness.
Mm-hmm.
When you finish, whether that be at Cape Wrath or in Inverness, what's the first thing you will do?
So when I get to Cape Wrath, there is Cape Wrath is only accessible from May through to October. There is, by the lighthouse, a cafe. So I'll probably have a piece of cake. If they've got some decent cake, I'll have a piece of cake. If they've got a Scotch egg or a sausage roll, I'll definitely do that. But anyway, something to eat, and probably, if I'm feeling particularly frivolous, a double espresso or a cup of tea, depending on how I'm feeling. When I get to Inverness, I can metaphorically let my hair down, and hopefully Mum will be in Inverness, and we'll have a glass of something fizzy. I might have a beer and then a glass of something fizzy. I don't know. See what's there.
Nice. I'll go into some sort of more fun questions, not necessarily just on the route and the ride itself. On a long ride, what is your go-to snack? I know what it is, but give me something that you would have in your back pocket as well.
Oh, okay. So energy food for running or cycling is, gels and bars and that sort of stuff, which contain lots of sugar because that gives you calorie dense, and it gives you glycogen, and that's the bit that your muscles use. So typically, you get palate fatigue, fed up of eating sweet things, so crave something more savory or salty. So I like a good farm shop, and if it's a really good farm shop, it will have homemade Scotch eggs or sausage rolls. So something like that. If you follow my Strava, occasionally I post pictures of Scotch eggs and sausage rolls and stuff. Yeah. So that would be my go-to. In terms of what I have in my back pocket, Science and Sport have come out with a new oat protein carbohydrate bar. I tried one of those the other day. That wasn't too bad. Tastes a bit synthetic, but yeah, they're all right.
I thought I knew what that was going to be, and I didn't. I thought it would have been one of the tiramisu bakes.
Oh yeah, I quite like those. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
old school wine gums.
Yeah. Packet of Haribo's in the back pocket.
Yeah, I will be. Yeah, but it's all sweet, you see. And by to be perfectly honest, by that point, you don't really want. I crave something that's not sweet.
Yeah.
As a treat.
When you're training on the turbo trainer, what's your go-to music and your go-to podcast?
So it depends on what I'm doing. If it's an intense session, i.e. hard intervals, something with a good fast beat. Science behind that. It's proven that fast beat helps you with exertion. So yeah, anything from the 80s, because I'm I'm that generation. 80s or early 90s. Or if I'm trying to get down with the young kids like you, 21 Pilots, something like that, I'll listen to. And then podcasts. Yes, I'm a big consumer of lots of different podcasts. So cycling podcasts, the cycling podcast I've been listening to since 2013. So anything they produce, I listen to. If I'm doing longer endurance ride. I like, there's another cycling podcast called Life in the Peloton, which is an ex-Australian professional, Mitch Docker, who is always very upbeat, engaging, happy. That's a good one to lift the spirits. Or I listen to business or current affairs podcasts, which I bored you with regularly when I was driving you to and from school.
Yeah, I remember those long mornings in the car. And I'm slightly disappointed I haven't managed to convince you onto the Keegan Swenson heavy metal train yet, but
no,
I'll get you there
thrash
someday.
metal, screaming thrash metal is not my bag, thank you.
I'll get you there someday. Someday
You won't.
And a quick question from my mum, your wife, Amanda. Are you planning to stay in any nice hotels that she can come and join you in?
I think the answer now is yes, but I don't know where. So I deliberately haven't booked anything because I don't quite know how I'm going to go. I don't want to book hotels too far in advance, because basically you have a headwind one day, and doing what you thought was going to be a 100-mile day, you might be pleased to do 80 miles, and that last 20 miles would kill you if you tried to do it. So yeah, I'll see. I've got the route planned out. Get a day or two in, and then I know how I'm going. And if Mum can't join me on the route, then I'll get a decent hotel in Inverness, and she can come up to Inverness and join me there.
Very nice, very nice. All right, just for the last little bit, we'll go on to some quick fire questions. Not necessarily about cycling.
Okay.
Got
I look nervous.
Got 90 seconds on the clock. Are you ready?
90 seconds per answer?
No, not per answer, for the whole thing.
Okay.
Or as many as I can get through.
So I've got to be succinct then.
Got to be quick. It's the whole game of it. You ready?
Might be a struggle. Yeah, go on.
Coffee or tea?
Oh, crikey. Tea first thing in the morning, coffee after.
Sunrise or sunset?
Until 12 o'clock. Sunrise.
Sweet or salty?
Salty.
Text or call?
Cool.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
What's your go-to comfort food?
Oh, Scotch egg, pork pie, that sort of stuff.
One song you would never skip?
Don't You Forget About Me.
Favourite way to spend a rest day?
I have too many things to do. I don't know.
Last thing that made you properly laugh?
I went to see Henning Vane, the comedian, the other week. He's very funny.
If you could live anywhere for a year, where would it be?
Sorry, say that again, the line broke up.
If you could live anywhere for a year, where would it be?
Where you are.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
If your life had a theme song, what would it be?
Always look on the bright side of life.
Dream dinner guest, dead or alive?
Apart from your mum.
Yeah.
Just in case she said she's going to listen to this. Dream dinner guest. Yeah. Winston Churchill.
Nice. And dream, I know the round's finished, but if you could have one cyclist over for dinner, who would it be?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. There's quite a few. Now down to one. Pretty much Docker, because I think you'd have a real laugh with him.
Nice.
But yeah, Lachlan Morton, he'd be very interesting because he's got a very offbeat take on just life in general. And he's done some absolutely, you think me doing David to Kate Roth is mad. I mean, the stuff he's done is just absolutely crazy. Riding all the way around Australia in 38 days or whatever whatever it was. Nuts.
Yeah. Just before we go, how can people support you or the charity, and what would it mean to you if people got involved?
Well, if anybody does listen to this and they sponsor me already, I should say thank you. I have a Just Giving page, so if you can put the details of that somewhere, that would be good. I keep posting on I keep writing on LinkedIn and posting a bit on LinkedIn about what I'm doing. So yeah, through my Just Giving page, please. And any amount gratefully received. I think I'm just under £3,000 raised so far. So I set a target of 5,000, but I've got no idea. Yeah, I've got no idea. As much as I possibly can raise.
Awesome. Well, good luck with your training, and I'm sure we'll check in with you soon to see how you're getting on. And it's just under 3 weeks to go, or just over 3 weeks, so better get cracking.
Yeah, get on your bike.
Good luck, Stuart. Good luck, Father.
Thank you, William. Thank you very much. See you soon.
That's it for today's episode of Still Not There, the podcast. This is just the beginning of the journey. We've got a lot more to come as Stuart's ride gets closer, and even more to talk about once it's done. If you'd like to follow along, support the charity, or just see how everything unfolds, you can check out the links in the description. Thanks for listening to this episode, and we look forward to the next one. Ride on.